Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. This is the opening session to Unmask Orlando. Today we set our scene in Orlando's Elysium, also known as the Hemingway's restaurant on the property of as I forget the name of the hotel, Hyatt Regency. There we go. Today, a group of young kindred are coming to introduce themselves to the newly crowned Prince of Orlando, to seek. Shut up, Christine. Our newly crowned Prince of Orlando. What they find is a rather cozy looking restaurant that intimately lit, quiet. This table sits before them, prepared and ready, glasses filled with blood at each place setting. And I will let each of you do your own introduction.
Shall I start?
Go ahead.
So, do you want me to narrate something about my character or just place
Yes,
myself
go
in the
ahead
scene?
and kind of narrate your character coming into
Okay,
the scene. There's no one here yet.
great. Well, I enter through the front doors to the reception and just go ahead to the reception and ask for a meeting with the prince. He's wearing an attempt at a expensive suit, but it's obviously not an expensive suit. But he's trying nonetheless.
The only person that has preceded your arrival is this man. You would note that he is extremely large, standing about 6'10". He would approach as you ask for a meeting with the prince and lead you to the table to have a seat.
To the waiting room, you said?
No, to the table at which the meeting will be taking place.
Okay. Well, I will silently take my place at one of the seats and just wait. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay. Next up, we have Pratik.
Well, let me lead the scene because it's his first
Yeah, that's fine.
thing. So, well, pretty much both Alexandra and her child have checked into the hotel coming from Miami. So they will come down from the elevator and go through the reception. They're very elegantly dressed. Like if you looked at them, you couldn't tell right off the bat what their clan was. And what you can see distinctively on Alexandra is she's using a very nice cane, and she has a really big diamond ring, very flashy. Um, and she pretty much holds Fernand by the arm, like in an arm. What you call that? Help?
As an escort would.
Yes, like not like you would hold like a boyfriend or something like the like
Simply
you
someone who
yeah,
is escorting you to
yes,
a place.
that way. And they'll step into the reception.
Castiel would greet you with a curt bow. Good evening, my lady. I am assuming you're here to see Michael Darien.
Indeed. I'm Alexandra Diamond. Nice meeting you. To whom am I speaking?
Castiel Acre, elder of Clan Tremere. It's a pleasure.
The
He
pleasure is
would
all mine.
take her hand and bring it to his lips and kiss her hand.
And she will smile gorgeously, and she will present her child. This is my child, Fernand Estevez.
Castiel would extend his hand to shake.
I take her hand and I shake and I introduce myself. A pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure. If you two will follow me right this way, we already have someone waiting, but the prince will arrive shortly.
Marvelous. So they'll move on and sit at the table and suspiciously look at the other individual sitting there.
I will. The Jacobo will look up at uh, Alexandra and give a slight nod in her direction, but keep quiet nonetheless. He keeps a frown on his face, though.
Yeah, she will give a smug nod as well of acknowledgement, but none more than that. And she will sit down.
Arjun
Okay.
will enter, and well, for the moment, it's quite a large figure, not overly large, 5'9", so not huge size, big, but still kind of tall. Wearing a trench coat and a trilby hat that kind of right now um, is hiding a bit, at least the upper side of his face, and he'll say, "Ah, Castiel, it is good to see you again." And as he says this, he'll raise the upper, raise his head so that Castiel may see his face.
Ah, Arjun, come. But off with the hat.
Of course,
Rude to
and
wear
he'll
it
take
indoors.
it off.
I'm assuming you're here to present yourself to the prince.
Of course, yes.
Come, we already have a couple of people waiting. The prince should be arriving soon.
Just a second.
Okay, Nelson, come on. Oh, good grief. Okay. Since he will be right back, we will go ahead and assume he took his seat. I will allow you guys to roleplay amongst yourselves for a little bit, talk, while you wait on the prince.
So this kind of an environment is quite a bit of a new thing for Fernand. After and he is not accustomed to environments like this, so he's a bit wary, especially being from a very violent background. He does not like to take any chances, and he keeps on glancing and looking out suspiciously at all the new vampires that he's seeing. He does not trust anyone very much, so he's just keeping his eyes and ears open cautiously.
Um, Alexandra is going to scope out the room and she will attempt to uh, break the ice a little bit and introduce herself to the other individuals sitting there. She will look at the two gentlemen and say, "Good evening, gentlemen. Um, we are new arrivals. My name is Alexandra Diamond of Clan Bruja, and this here is my child Fernand.
A pleasure to meet you.
Um,
Uh-huh.
would you like to introduce yourself, sir?"
Jacobo Montenegro.
Hmm.
It is a pleasure to meet you, of course.
I would assume so. Of Clan?
La Sombra.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Should be new to you guys. Call it a fresh experience.
Hmm. You assume too much, sir. She will uh, turn towards the other gentleman who's on BRB still. Damn it, Nelson!
Sorry for being silent there for a second. Had to change a button.
Thanks for saving us.
Yeah, no, it's Nelson. Nelson's fault.
Okay, well, I will toss in an NPC for a little fun then. As soon as I get this diaper fully on. There we go. Children, they're great.
So this is what the prince was doing while we were waiting for him, huh?
No, now. Don't be rude. Okay, who am I going to throw out there?
I'm just cheeky.
Oh my goodness, you okay? You know what? Guess what? We're going to have an NPC present themselves to the prince as well.
Ooh. Oh.
At this point, this man would walk into the room, escorted by, of course, Castiel. If anyone has aura sight on, which they shouldn't, but that one's one of the harder ones to prove has been used, they would notice that Castiel seems entirely uncomfortable in this man's presence. He seems very suspicious. But he seats them nonetheless and apologizes for their wait and says that the prince should be down any moment. So, are we all sitting here in absolute silence, or are we
Oh.
having a conversation?
Oh, we're waiting for Nelson because I was about to.
He just came back.
Okay, yeah.
That was in character. That wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, before that, I was about to turn to Nelson and introduce myself. I mean, I already made introduction of myself.
Go ahead.
So Alexander will turn to the pretty handsome gentleman on the other side and expect an introduction in return.
He'll bow and he'll say, I am Arjun Malik of Clan Ravnos. Charter of shit, I keep forgetting her name. I've just created this character. Um, um, oh, Charter of Doshita.
Ra-
Doshita.
Ravnos, there are more. You still. How did you survive?
I've had my
Ah,
ways.
I don't think that this
Besides
is
my
an appropriate question.
He
However,
looks genuinely intrigued, leans in, elbows on the table.
okay, question. We would, I assume we would know who his sire is.
Roll me a intelligence kindred lore.
Okay.
How much kindred lore does
You'll have three dots of kindred lore.
three dots is in a silly, okay?
Yep, 3 dots of kindred lore plus whatever your
Kindred
intelligence is. Diff
lore
6.
plus three plus politics 6. Okay. Difficulty 6, you said.
I
Yep.
got 2 successes.
You know exactly who this is.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me check too. ah. mm, Well,
Well, assuming the fame of your sire, I'd say there are definitely ways to survive. And she will smile.
it does help when your sire is a prince.
Indeed. And Alexandra would turn towards her child and pretty much tell him that his sire is actually the Prince of Glasgow, an esteemed member. Come on, predict. You have to act
he's just
impressed.
a little shy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I give a look of I am impressed, and I give a nod of acknowledgement. I don't speak much,
Oh, you're playing
especially
the silent type too, huh?
not with people I don't know. I don't speak much with them, so I just
Yeah, you're
give.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're smart.
I just smile a little and give a nod of acknowledgement.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a good way to establish yourself.
The man
Especially
who
because
go ahead.
I'm quite out of my league over here, and I cannot assess the situation properly. So I'm choosing to keep my mouth silent for now.
That's it. Join the club.
The man who most recently entered the room seems entirely unfazed by most of what's been going on. He's leaning back in his chair, arms crossed. And at that point, Castiel comes back into the room, accompanied by this man.
Alexandra will stand up and motion her child to stand up as well and do a small bow.
Castiel would kind of motion for Arjun to stand up. Like, don't be stupid, stand up.
Yes, he'll stand.
I will promptly stand up so aggressively that the chair falls down.
That would bring a wince from the prince. I would prefer you not break things in my restaurant, if you would please.
My apologies.
Fernan, on the other hand, is a bit more subtle and just does what his sire asked him to do.
Accompanying him is this woman, wearing the pink suit shown in the overlay, as she takes a seat to the right side of the prince at the head of the table. So, I'm assuming you are all here to present yourself, as I don't recognize a single one of you.
That is correct, sir.
Indeed.
Yes, Your Grace.
I see someone knows how to address a prince. Can't say much for the rest of you.
I nod.
So, shall we begin?
Arjun's eyes go to Alexandra, ladies first, and he'll make a small, like, head bow to her.
Well, Prince Darian, I would like to present both myself and my child. I am Alexandra Diamond, hailing from Miami, and this is Fernanda Estevez, my child, both of Clan Bruja.
An honor to meet you.
I assume that you are both within good standing of the Ivory Tower.
My prince who wouldn't be here otherwise. Uh, we relocated here to for a fresh start, should we say.
Is there anything that you would ask of my throne?
Uh, Indeed, my prince, I would be interested in purchasing property. I would be interested in starting another jewelry store in this fine city of yours, as I had in Miami. And of course, I would like to accommodate my child as well, if that would be okay with you.
You are both granted permission to reside within this domain. Purchase whatever property you wish once you're here. That's no business of mine. Unless you try to purchase one of my places, and then we might have issues.
Your
Aside
Highness,
from
your
that,
business and mine are probably different. However, I would like to present you with a gift.
is that
And
so?
she will take a box out of her purse. It's like a jewelry box, rectangular, and it has a diamond encrusted chain within it, like one of the chains that you put on the wrist.
Hmm. Impressive, Miss Diamond. I'll
Well,
remember that.
as the name suggests, this is my business.
He kind of sets it off to the side. Who's next?
Arjun will stand and then bow, make a proper bow. I am Arjun Malik of Clan Ravnos, chowder of Darshita. It is an honor to present myself before you, my prince.
Ah, noble blood, I see. So, what brings you to Orlando?
Seeing as this is a city newly taken by the Sabbat, my sire decided it may be a wise idea to send me as help. Make sure none of knows Sabbat come back and try to take back what they think. foolishly so, is, is still theirs.
The woman would look up at this point and,
And he smiles at her.
Prince Darien, I can vouch for this one. He has saved my life. He is very much a friend to Clan Tremere. Then I suppose I cannot deny him entry, can I? Given the opinion of such a well-respected member of our clan. Is there anything you would ask of me?
If it is not too much to ask, my dear prince, I would like to hold some domain here. Nothing too big, of course.
I think that can be figured out. I will have one of my men figure out what domain is available and get with you on drawing up plans immediately.
He'll bow again. Thank you, my prince. And with that, he'll sit back down.
Who's next? He would,
Mm.
look over at Lila Sombra.
Oh yeah. Okay. My prince. My name is Jacobo Montenegro of Clan La Sambra, child of currently deceased Antonio Fabrizi.
Kinda,
I,
you would notice he kind of lifts a brow at the mention of Clan La Sombra.
as you would instantly realize, is that yes, I have lived a life as a Sabbat, K-Knight, and well, let's say that I'd like to change things up a bit, settle down more. I'm tired of fighting and killing and all the conflict that happens. All I
So you're
want,
ready to stop killing indiscriminately then.
unless it is in the benefit of the camera, of course, I'm more useful down on the streets. If a prince's mind has to be clear, so too does their grip have to be strong, and I want to be part of the grip.
So tell me, I assume you know our traditions,
Indeed, I do.
and you can follow these?
As much as any kindred within Camarilla can follow them. Yes.
Suppose given we are at war,
And
might be able to make an exception.
an exabat could always prove useful.
Yes, keep in
You,
mind, if I get the slightest whiff that you are breaking the traditions, I will have you blood hunted. Do you understand?
I understand that. Though uh, I would suggest preparations for a counterattack.
Is there anything you would request of my throne?
I would like to keep my domain if that is how your grace wishes to be in your city, of course.
I suppose that you can keep your former hunting grounds.
Certainly. I also offer my prowess for the battlefield.
Of
If
course, I will
protection
get
is
with our
to
sheriff.
indeed. That is all. Thank you, Your Grace.
He would nod. And you? He looks over at the other gentleman who came in. Kieran, seriously, hush. The man would stand up, bowing, and Mihail Dragunov, Clan Tremere. I believe just like yourself, my prince. The young woman who is with the prince would visibly stiffen upon the mention of the last name, kind of gripping the sides of her chair a little harder than she probably should. So, another Tremere. Well, I suppose it's a good thing Katya here converted her home into a chantry.
Arjun will keep an eye on Katja. See what her reaction is, especially because she's Primogen, and he knows that means she'll probably have to live with him somehow, or at least in the same chantry. Yes, so he's been careful, keeping a careful eye on mostly her, but him too, on that, just in case anything happens.
I'm a neonate of Clan Tremere. I simply wish to reside in the domain. I do not request domain or any other indulgences from yourself, my prince. I simply seek to reside here. The prince nods a bit. He notes that Katya seems incredibly uncomfortable. You may reside here, but until your Primogen feels comfortable, you will remain here in the hotel. You will not reside in the chantry. The other man just gives a nod and gives him another bow before sitting. Is there any other business that needs to be taken care of?
I would like to ask you a question uh, if this is okay, my friends.
Of course.
I believe one of your Primogen Council is an acquaintance of mine. Am I mistaken? Is Mr. Theodus the Primogen of the Toreador in the city?
Ah, yes, Theodius. He is indeed our Toreador Primogen. I had no idea you knew him.
I had met him briefly in Miami.
He is quite a
Um,
charming man.
Indeed, quite so. Uh, where would I be able to find him?
He spends most of his evenings at Insomnia, a club owned by another member of his clan.
I thank you. I will see to it that we meet. Uh, is there any service we could provide to you, my prince?
At the moment, no, we are well in hand for the moment, planning any responses to any rogue sabbat we happen to find.
I'd like it to make it known to you that we are at your service at any moment, that you may wish to use us in any way.
Why, thank you. I will have Clarence gather your number. But for now, I have other matters to attend to. You may stay and talk amongst yourselves. Primogen von Essen, stay, entertain them for a while. At which point he beelines for the door. Now, if you guys want to continue, we can, or we can end it here.
Well, we didn't get introduced to Katya.
Very true. Katya would stand up and give a curt smile. Katya von Essen, Primogen of Clan Tremere.
A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Van Essen.
It should be noted that she speaks with a very, very thick German accent at this point.
Yes.
I should probably switch off of the prince, huh?
What?
Probably should. Yes, please.
There we go.
More pleasing to look at least for me.
I can't complain.
So, you will all be residing within the domain now. She would move around the table over to Arjan and greet him with a kiss on each side of his face.
Primogen Van Essen, I see that you're exquisitely dressed.
Why, thank you, my dear.
I would need some
Always.
suggestions of where in the city I can find such finery.
Oh, I'd be pleased to take you out shopping sometime.
That would be my pleasure. It would also do me good to learn the city a bit more. I haven't been here many times in the past.
I've actually not been here long myself. I've only just recently awoken, so
I was surprised to know you had traveled so far.
well, as they say, sometimes this change of scenery does a woman good.
I can agree with that.
So, now I've been introduced to you all. You have all been introduced to me. Castiel, get everyone drinks, please. At which point the rather large man from earlier would come in with a tray of drinks and offer them to anyone who wants either blood or alcohol, depending on their preference, as he knows Katya tends to prefer alcohol.
Well, I don't have to eat food, so.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Yeah, I'll get the
Okay.
blood.
So Katya would take a glass of wine from the tray and thank Castile, and he would leave the tray and retreat back into the back once more.
A toast, perhaps.
Indeed, to new beginnings.
To new beginnings, indeed.
Right. He'll just awkwardly extend his glass.
And I think that is a good place to call it. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been an introduction scene for Unmask Orlando. See you next time.